Okay, welcome back. So, well, the whole fuel, bad fuel, dirty fuel, contaminated fuel, brouhaha, it is where it is. It actually started a long time. I'm hearing something like up to 2 weeks before it became news in Lagos. Yeah, by the time whatever it is hits Lagos, then that is when everybody will know. We are told that all other things being equal, again by an unsigned, as far as the one I saw, was an unsigned statement that just seemed a lot logical, that, you know, maybe by the end of the week, the Lagos situation would have been sorted out. And I think by next week, the situation in Abuja would also have been sorted out. But as we were leaving the first half of the program, I was saying something about the continuous constitutional review exercise. And this time it looks like, among other things, the legislators are turning their eyes to now, what is the right, appropriate qualification to vie for the presidency of this country. On the one hand, we've heard about not too young to run, but this is a different thing. Right now, the way the Constitution stands, Malachy, is that you just need to have attended senior secondary school, right?
Or its equivalent, and have a certificate of that, or its equivalent.
Or its equivalent.
Yes.
So now the certificate, of course, is the certificate of attendance, not having obtained, you know, a certificate. Or is that necessary?
Oh, well, if you stretch it and say certificate, would you be giving certificate if you merely attended? One would imagine that you must have concluded before you are certificated. That's the understanding.
Wow.
But the language is what it is.
So the language is what it is. If you just manage to attend secondary school
and had a certificate of the senior secondary school certificate or its equivalent, you leaves it there.
You can actually vie
for the presidency.
Yes. So now they are looking at it that, look, is there any need to address this? Can we do better? Is there a need to do better? Just looking at our situation here, I guess that's why they went there. But I understand that there's somebody on the line. Sorry, tell me that again, please. Somebody who's on the line. Where is Charles? Where is Charles? Charles in Payelsa. Good morning.
Morning.
Go ahead, please, Charles.
Yes. My contribution will be very straightforward. You see, this country, we have all examined, have all the nuances of doing things crazy. But then there is some conspiracy that when minorities are in the headship of the affairs of Nigeria, Nigerians generally are not corralled and galvanized to protest against the wrongdoings of the majority people who are in power. If this issue happen now about petroleum had happened under Goodluck Jonathan, Lagos would have been marching. Abuja, Kano, Kaduna. Now we have all agreed, Mr. President, the buck stops on his desk. Where are the angry Nigerians on this issue? Somebody will call and now saying it is Minister of State Petroleum that should have not even been in work this morning. Why should it be so when we all know that the buck stops in Mr. President's court?
All right, then. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your call. Thank you very much. You've sort of emphatically said that, even though you understand those arguments, as far as you're concerned, it's Mr. President. He is the Minister of Petroleum. Okay, but onto the other aspect that we were talking about, but that is one of the remaining calls, no doubt, from the previous segment. So, what should indeed be the base qualification? I mean, I don't know. Is this something that we can just pick up from? You know, there are aspects of the Constitution, aspects of our laws where we look at other countries as templates and then sort of, you know, tinker to suit us. I remember in the UK, I beg your pardon, sorry. I remember in the UK, I think that was Prime Minister Major, John Major. He came to, he was Prime Minister, and I think
John Major. John Major.
John Major. It was just A-levels. He had A-levels. I compare that to the present, Prime Minister, who is not the first of such. He went to Oxford.
Yes.
So
his predecessors from
exactly
Tony Blair to
exactly. But it would be, I haven't studied the UK law about the matter. Or the UK UK doesn't have a constitution.
I was going to come to that.
UK doesn't
what
have a constitution.
What they have is not a written constitution.
Exactly. They don't have a written constitution. But a man with A-levels became the Prime Minister. And now I don't know, as I said, what the issues are, whether it was, well, he just had A-levels, let me just say that. So would we say that if you're going to be president, you should at least have a degree? And I say that because you can't get any meaningful job if you can't show them today that you not just, went through school and have a first degree, you also have served, youth corps. So what are your thoughts about this whole matter about the educational qualification of any aspirant to the office of president?
Well, Yori, as we speak, that effort in the National Assembly has gone past the second reading.
It has.
So what that presupposes is that the National Assembly, talking of the Senate and the House of Representatives, pursuant to their powers under Section 4, are already pushing those efforts towards an amendment. I had personally written extensively, wondering if we're going to come out of this constitutional logjam by piecemeal amendments. Part of what I meant was that if you had such critical concern and aspects of reservation relating to our constitution, the input of the people, the collective will of the people, beyond what our representatives who are empowered to amend constitutions can do, would have been much more appropriate. That is not happening at the moment. It's now falling back on the same people to, think aloud, to imagine that this is the best of what they can do. On the last count, we have had 4 alterations up until 2018. And I can tell you, having had the opportunity in 1999 to deliver a paper, the Abia State University, Abia State University, we had reviewed that constitution to find that you cannot conclusively correct the ills of that constitution through amendment, piecemeal amendment. But that's a different kettle of fish. Coming back to your question, it is that we have also seen ourselves in the situation in this country where we have tested people without university degrees and very many others, very many without, and just 1 or 2 with university degrees. And the question has been posed, rightly in my view, whether the challenge of leadership in Nigeria has everything to do with certification. And the answer has come out in the negative, to say that even in the category of those who have led this country, we have seen by far much more enthusiasm, much more purpose, much more vision, much more rigor around those without the university degrees. And therefore, the question is, if we are at this point where we are looking at qualification, is it just about certification or education? Because we hear that you could go through the university and the university did not go through you. We also hear that you can be educated, but you are not civilized. You are not properly groomed for leadership. In my view, I think that as we think with that, which is desirable, I mean, the argument have moved forth and back, and you hear people say that for you to be an MD or even a senior executive of a corporate body, a private company.
Right. Yes.
You must show your NYC, presupposing that you have gone through a university education.
Exactly.
And all that.
How much more a whole country? But I must bring in Mazi at this stage. Mazi Okorafor has stayed on for quite a while. Apologies, Mazi Okorafor in Aruchukwu. Go ahead now, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, SAN Malachy, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Mazi. Thank you.
It's always I don't need to wait for before they give you have to acclaim it by faith.
Okay, thank you.
My brother is here. paper qualification is not a Nigerian problem. Now you ask yourself,
Mazi, are you
paper qualification?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, carry on, please.
Yes. The paper qualification they are talking. Is it straight? Is it changing? Right now, Nigeria, they have problem educationally. About HND and BSc, National Assembly, they have not specified when you're talking about. And you go down to SSC, they have NAPTEP, they have NECO, they have WAEC. Which one are they going? That is just a body to write exam to go to university. Nigerian system is not education. Nigerian problem is that we don't know exactly what we want. We just see that when we go to the bed, we just sleep on. Don't you see one of the National Assembly because you have problem with the civil defense. He said they should scrap the civil defense. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. Go to any answer, they just come and through. And that was just another confusion into Nigerian system. Nigerian system is not about qualification. The system that we have men and women that are talented, but the opportunity are not given to them. Now look at my brother seated there, Sir Malachy. Every time he features in the program, he doesn't come with a piece of paper. Everything is in just built inside. The oracle of the OC have already embedded all those things on him. The team will just be foreign. This is the type of people that support the old government. But you see that now, because not your village. Now let me quote what former president of America said, President Trump. He said, leadership in Africa, because of the leaders are cohorts, are the major problem and major factors affecting African development, African economy, that Africa to move forward, except they sit down and think within themselves what they want. Not depending. Look at newspaper report as of 2 days ago. Telling Nigeria, if you don't move subsidy, you cannot. If you don't increase subsidy, you cannot. It's VAT. You cannot move. You cannot pay salary. How can somebody down there sit down and work with records? You don't say Nigeria. Come down to Nigeria. There are people when they come and beg you. They are not taking you for money. They say, please, I want to. You just give me ordinary food. Is that supposed to happen? No. This is the refinery we are talking about. We have over 100 Nigerians. Over 100 Nigerians that have built refineries in this country for us to do. They don't have been started. Ask me, what are they doing with it?
Okay, Mazi, thank you very much, sir, for calling in. It's an interesting, it's a delicate one, but it's interesting because this is educational, certification. You talk about certification. Now, there is a whole, the whole matter about the education that you get. I think that's what really is important.
That's what is important. That's because really, if you focus on certification, you get the paper. Yes. And that's certification. We have seen instances, even in Akwa Ibom recently,
what kind of mind do you have?
Where a professor was convicted for electoral offenses.
Yes.
You know, around issues of corruption and bribery. We have seen senior advocates of Nigeria deranked. We have seen military officers colluding with criminals and shutting down colleagues in other sister organizations, like in Taraba says, concerning the Wadume case. We have seen, you know, persons up there with very convoluted certification.
With serious certification.
You know, but we have also seen others driven by the right values, driven by altruistic intentions for their country, enough patriotic dose to push them even further than those who are certificated.
Let me come back to you because Ade in the UK. Good morning, Mr. Ade has come on the line.
Good morning, Dr. Yori. And my friend, sitting down with you there, our future senior advocate for the we awarded this year by God's grace.
Okay, at least put
my point is this.
Sure.
In Nigeria, there are some places you work in Nigeria, you don't go on leave. You are entitled to leave, but you won't go. And you know why? Because if you go on leave, all those things coming in here to take over. So we say you are not interested in leave. DPR is one of them. And degree is not our problem in Nigeria. Those who are working, they have PhD, they have all the qualification. But look at what is happening. What's happening about this person is a serious issue. But Nigeria people, I don't know how, if it can't happen here. If it happens here, you'll be a millionaire. You can imagine a young couple who just got married, managed to buy a car of 40 million naira, and they bought this and the engine knock, everything finished. Insurance won't pay, government won't pay. to ruin so many people's lives, and they are just taking it with levity. It's a serious issue. For a person to bring petrol, he has ruined so many lives. You can imagine a generator in a hotel or wherever they put the petrol and it destroy everything. Nobody is talking. And we are talking degree. Degree is not a problem in Nigeria because they can get degree from Ghana, Ivory Coast. Within 12 months, you pay for your money and you give Nigeria. We don't use degree in UK. They don't value degree. Not that they don't need degree, but it doesn't make you rise up. It's your handwork, what you do, your brain. What is in your brain that makes you rise up? And because you are bringing. Yes, you do that in America. Here, you rise up through whatever you can contribute to it. That's all. So this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
And this is Ed must know. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And I don't know, because it's an interesting phenomenon that we're talking about here. Look, we have got to the level where there are motor park touts who are quite wealthy and are not living like, scum. They have property where the best of people have property. And there's their own specialization. Now, you can't put them in a classroom and put a biro in their hand and say, please answer a few questions. You can't do that. But nevertheless, they are deferred to and approached as people of consequence in society. So there's a bit of what Ade said, and there's also a bit of what we're talking about. Ade said it, only exaggerating slightly that we don't need degree here. I imagine there are a lot of Nigerians who are saying that they want to be president, that you don't need a degree, and they have proved it. Upon you, I'm delighted that you gave that rundown of very highly academically qualified people who have been found wanting. So it's not about the certification, but it's about the education. Even if you have motor park touts, it is a profession, unfortunately, here. Motor park touts that have risen to a multi-millionaire status up and down the land, perhaps. There still is the matter of education. They don't have education unless you say, oh, I went to Street University. Don't tell me I don't have education. I went to Street University. I'm streetwise. And that's the most important knowledge. I don't know.
You cannot easily discountenance the need for formal education and in consequence, certification. You cannot rule it out. The whole need for that is...
One second, please. George called in again. I want to contribute to this subject. Good morning again, Mr. George.
Uncle Yori, good morning once again, and then good morning to Malachy, the sound in the making.
Carry on, please.
Yes, Uncle Yori, you see, there's one thing that many of us do not seem to know about leadership. Leadership is spiritual ability. It is not from academics. It's about somebody who has an ability to perceive the need, the suffering, or whatever the other person needs, and he is able to passionately process that can make it a realistic, endeavor. That's what the leadership is about. There is no teacher that teaches it in a school. I listened to when you and Malachy were talking about British leaders. We all remember James Callaghan. Ade from London will be more familiar with that subject. He remains one of the best prime ministers in England that has all the foundation that makes England what it is today. He never went to a university. That's just an example to tell you that leadership is not about academics. But whatever the national does about the subject, it will remain a paperwork. But let the paperwork go on. The reason being that, the standard of education in Nigeria has generally fallen. A person that had a primary certificate in 1970 will do better academically and even socially today than somebody that had it from 5 years ago. So I was once in a committee that employs people in a bank. And if you see what we were seeing there, Uncle Yori, somebody with a degree will not be able to draft a memo. Draft a memo if you were a supervisor in an office, draft a memo as to say to the other office head that this is what you want. When you read the English, you won't believe this person has a degree. But if the National Assembly says it's a degree, let it be a basic degree. In the times we stand in Nigeria now, our educational standard, anything below a degree is just rubbish. Okay, let me, if I'm saying too long, but go to a filling station. Me, any place I go, I ask questions. I discovered that many of those people selling fuel, those attendants, they hold degrees. Because there are no jobs. I have seen not less than 10. They hold degrees, 10 degrees.
The person dispensing petrol to you?
Yes. So this is if a degree holder is now a petrol attendant, it goes to it suggests that before you become a governor or somebody that is to lead us, you should have at least some basic. But the important thing I want to point out is that the good leadership doesn't come from academic qualification.
All right, then. Let's leave it there, Mr. George. Thank you very much. And I think you agree with that, and because it's the point you were making.
That point is established. The earlier point I was making is that the whole essence of certification is to enable people to at least have a broader worldview and understanding about issues of leadership, such that when you are discussing complex leadership development issues, at least such a person will understand it. But by far more important than that is the irreducible minimum for leadership recruitment, and that is competence, capacity, patriotism, and then, of course, the diligence.
But we also have to have, for such the highest office in the land, some modicum is what George was suggesting.
I have made that point.
There's no way.
I've considered to that, and
okay.
I think that is what is promoting the debate,
yes,
such that
yes.
We don't have the kind of leader or president or executive officer who does not understand precisely the intricacies of what is being discussed. But in terms of what should determine leadership, we must look by far more than that,
okay.
and focus on competence, and focus on character, focus on patriotism, and that altruistic disposition that makes you feel the pain of the people and want to solve it.
And as you said, in the National Assembly, this matter has gone to
the second
reading. So it shows that they're pursuing the matter with gusto. We're going to have to leave it there for the moment, and whenever they're through, we'll see what comes out of it. Thank you indeed out there at home for joining us. Please do so again tomorrow. I give thanks to my guests, Malachy Ugwumadu, former President, CDHR, and human rights lawyer.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.